So some people wanted me to talk about my Orthodox Judaism, and I haven't spoken much about how I practice Orthodox Judaism over the past few months, and I just haven't had anything new to say. My show's mainly been aimed at attracting non-Jews, so I've left matters of Orthodox Judaism largely behind the last 9 months here on this channel. So Christians don't tend to speak a lot about my Christianity and how they love being Christian. By contrast, Jews will talk a lot about how they love being Jewish, the Jewish approach to cooking, to history, to film, to philosophy, whether this or this approach is more Jewish. So there's no direct equivalent to this in Christianity. But Christians love to talk about how much they love Jesus. So Jews will talk about how much they love Judaism. Christians will talk about how much they love Jesus. So it's largely a way of life. It's a tribal thing. And is this street closed? Darn it. Street is closed. So life in Orthodox Judaism is like life in a tribe. And in many ways, like the tribal analogy will just fit better than the religious analogy. Because in Orthodox Judaism, you have very strong bonds and ties to a particular people. And so the people you go on vacation with, the people you have Passover Seder with, people you do business with, people you pray with, people you go to baseball games with, people you drink with, they'll usually be the same people. What the fuck? What the fuck? So, getting along in Orthodox Judaism is about being comfortable living in community. Like people knowing your business, knowing a lot of your business. You see the same people every day. And a lot of people just aren't comfortable with that loss of privacy. And it can be challenging, it can be suffocating. But life in Orthodox Judaism is life with the people. It's about very strong bonds with other people. So just you spend a lot of time with others. And if you're a prima donna, people know that really quick. If you're dishonest, people know that really quick. Your backstory is known. You become a very known quantity very quickly. So, Orthodox Jews in my community, by and large, don't watch my streams because, by and large, Orthodox Judaism is incredibly demanding, busy way of life. So there just isn't much time left for watching video streams, particularly on non-Jewish topics. So I've received almost no grief. I can't recall receiving any grief for my video streams from my Orthodox Jewish community. It's just not a matter of concern. They'll only comment on something I say in a stream if it has to do with Jews, by and large. So Orthodox Jews are primarily concerned with making a living, observing a traditional way of life, And even at double speed, Luke's live streams are for slackers. Yeah. So, typical Orthodox Jew that I know has 4 or 5 kids, have a household income of probably on average $120,000. They're spending about $50,000 a year on yeshiva bills. And just not a lot of time left for streaming. If you're not married, you don't have kids, and you're 52 years of age, you're definitely an oddity. If you're not married, don't have kids, and you're 32 years of age, you're definitely an oddity in Orthodox Judaism. My impression of how Orthodox Jews relate to me is that they would relate to me pretty much the same way even if I was born Jewish, given everything else about me. So given my life history since my conversion, my choices, even if I'd been born Jewish, there wouldn't be much difference in how Orthodox Jews treat me. Now, of course, there may be some who are polite to my face, but just don't really want to have anything to do with me based on being a convert. My experience, my understanding of life says this accounts for an insignificant number. But I overwhelmingly feel accepted according to my merits as a human being and as an Orthodox Jew. So there will be plenty of teasing. People will say, "Oh, I don't accept your conversion," or "We will never accept you." This is on a level of light teasing. Like the very people who say this will have me over for a Rosh Hashanah meal. I'm thinking of one guy who teases me this way. He's had me to his house 10 times for Sabbath meals, Jewish holiday meals. So Rosh Hashanah starts Sunday night. It's the Jewish festival season. So I will look forward to a lot of lengthy meals at the homes of Orthodox Jews. Typical holiday meal will go 2-3 hours. A lot of singing, a lot of schmoozing, a lot of food, a lot of drinking. I look for ways of being of service, so I'm a convert to Orthodox Judaism, so these aren't the primary ways that I'm of service to my religious community, but I'll just use them as analogy. If they needed someone to sweep the floor before everyone else arrived at shul, I'd be happy to volunteer to do that. Yeah, who do I need to make amends for before Yom Kippur? I'll take your suggestion in the chat. If the synagogue needed me to put out food for the Kiddush, I'd be happy to do that. If synagogue needed me to clean the bathrooms, I would be happy to do that. If the synagogue needed me to dust the holy books and put them away, I'd be happy to do that. So I look for little niches where I can make a contribution to my community on a regular basis. If they need someone to videotape a talk, if they need someone to lock and unlock a building, if people need rides, if the sick need visiting, if there are old shut-ins who need visiting, these are all ways that I'm glad to be of service and that I give my priority to. Okay, my religious community gets my priority. In my spare time, if I'm going to volunteer, I'm going to take care of my own first. It's where I give primarily my charity dollars. Around 5 to 10% of my income go to my religious community. My volunteering, 70-80% of it goes to my religious community. So what I enjoy most about being an Orthodox Jew is being around intelligent, accomplished, witty, interesting, disciplined people. Okay, I like the way of life. I like the people that I spend time with. Happy people, by and large. I don't like to spend time around unhappy people. I love Torah study. So I like going to Talmud class, or Mishnah class, or Pirkei Avos class, or any class to do with the sacred text of Judaism. I enjoyed that. It's probably my favorite thing. I enjoy Torah class 20 times more than I enjoy praying, davening. I like things that stimulate my mind. I like to be intellectually alive. I love to listen to the talks given by Mark B. Shapiro. He is a historian of modern Jewish thought of the past 300 years. I have about 200 of his recorded talks on the lives of the Gedolim. So he'll do a 6-part series on, say, Rav Aaron Kotler, who started Lakewood, turned Lakewood into this massive yeshiva community. He's done like 8 lectures on the late Obadiah Yosef, the Sephardic former chief rabbi of Israel. So I've read all of Mark Shapiro's English language books. I read all his blog posts. I read the books he recommends. So a lot of ignorance about Judaism among even Orthodox rabbis. For example, they will talk about they'll take some text from Talmud and explicate its laws, and that's not how Jewish life has been run over the centuries. It's been run according to the responsa, which is literature of rabbinic rulings in response to particular situations. So even though Orthodox Judaism posits that the Torah is eternal, it's divine, it's immutable, it has to be applied in constantly changing circumstances. And so rabbis often conflict, and so it's interesting to read the different rabbinic arguments and to see how the same Torah text is going to be applied, implemented, lived in completely different situations. So the Jewish way of life, even the Orthodox Jewish way of life, has considerable flexibility, but not so much flexibility that is not able to sustain itself. So it makes me happy being in Orthodox Judaism, in that I'm in the one form of Jewish organization that has shown the ability to perpetuate itself. So conservative Judaism has failed to perpetuate itself. Reform Judaism, Reconstructionist Judaism, these have all failed to perpetuate themselves. They're all dying out. So when I go to an Orthodox synagogue, there are usually large numbers of kids. There's a lot of energy. Usually kosher restaurants are overflowing with people. Synagogues are building up, getting bigger, expanding. That's exciting. Like it fills you with optimism. You see the new generations coming up, as opposed to when sometimes I used to go to Reform synagogues on a Friday night, say 15, 20 years ago, and it was mainly old ladies, and that's depressing. So as soon as you allow women to become rabbis, or as soon as you allow women to take a leadership role in religion, men drop out. Okay, unless you save special roles in religion just for men, they're going to drop out. Okay, men don't have the same natural inclination towards religion that women do. So if you want men to come around, participate in the religion with enthusiasm, you have to set aside special roles just for men. Orthodox Judaism does this. Non-Orthodox forms of Judaism do not do this. So male participation in non-Orthodox forms of Judaism is dropping away and non-Orthodox forms of Judaism are increasingly led by lesbians. And it's depressing being around that. So, a lot of downtime over the Jewish festivals. I'm going to stock up on books on Torah, books on Jewish life, Jewish history, Jewish philosophy, so that I can read during the downtime, because you're not allowed to use electronics on the Sabbath and on Jewish festivals. So I want to read tons of books over the next 3 weeks. There's a lot of laughter in Orthodox Jewish life. I really enjoy just the wit, because you have got so many smart people who are able to spot the absurdity in life. And so we'll all be sitting around and we'll be laughing, we'll be eating, we'll be drinking. I don't drink alcohol, but everyone else is drinking. And we've known each other for years, and so there's going to be a lot of laughter. The English translation of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur is called the Days of Awe, but it's nothing like the sense of reverence that you get in a church on a typical Sunday, okay? Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the primary emotion of these days is positive. It's uplifting, it's happy, it's optimistic. These are not days of people, moping about their sins. It's like, these are happy times. These are joyous times. These are optimistic times. These are energetic times. There's very little moping and melancholy and dwelling on one's sins. You'll find far more of that in church on a typical Sunday than you'll find in synagogue, even on Yom Kippur. Like even on Yom Kippur, people are happy. People are excited. Synagogues are overflowing. You get to meet new people. You get to see old friends. It's a tremendously social occasion in Reform and conservative synagogues. Women tend to dress like they're going to a nightclub. And Andrew Ryder says in the chat, maybe Jews could do with thinking more about the things they do wrong. Well, what is Jewish guilt? Jewish guilt is, as Steve Saylor points out, feeling bad for not being sufficiently ethnocentric, for not doing enough for Jewish interests, Jewish causes, the Jewish people. White guilt is for being too ethnocentric. So to the extent that Jews feel guilty on Yom Kippur, it's for, generally speaking, not volunteering enough for Jewish causes, not donating enough money, not performing various Jewish traditional practices, rituals, not going to synagogue often enough, not studying Torah enough. These are the things that, to the extent that Jews will feel bad or guilty on Yom Kippur, these will be the things. And you may think, Jews should feel guilty about bad things they've done to non-Jews. Well, by and large, on the primary festival days of any tribe or any group, you're not sitting around thinking about bad things that your group has done to outsiders. This is a time for thinking about bad things outsiders have done to you. This is just the nature of social identity. Jews on Yom Kippur, just like Christians on Christmas, and are not thinking about the bad things that their in-group has done to out-groups. Okay, this is a time for introspection, looking within, renewing your bonds and ties with your group. And there's not a lot of thought given to one's misbehavior against out-groups. I mean, how much do Christians on Easter and Christmas Day introspect about bad things Christians have done to non-Christians. Okay, it's not the typical way Christians spend Christmas or Easter. So this is the time to increase your in-group identity, get fired up, and enjoy being Jewish. Reconnect with your buddies.